Live from 2 News. This is Talkin' Real, powered by Strong Auto Group.
Good evening. Welcome into Talkin' Real. I'm David James, along with Brian Dunseth. We'll be here every Thursday night throughout the RSL season. We're going to get to the MLS opener at Orlando Sunday in a moment. But first, Dunny, Champions League, the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
Tigres, very entertaining. Third biggest crowd in stadium history. 20,921 there. RSL down 2-0. They needed a quick goal. Put some drama in this. 22nd minute. Burrito to Yura. Mavsisian to Plata. And there it is, the early goal they needed.
Yeah, and it starts with a sidewinder from Nick Raimondo. Incredible skill from Plata. Great ball from Yura Mavsisian. There's the speed and athleticism of Joao Plata.
So 2-1 on aggregate. 36th minute. What does Sonny bring to the team?
Consistency, level-headedness, the pace, the athleticism to recover in 1v1 battles. Absolutely stunning performance over these two legs from Sonny.
51st minute. RSL can't afford to give up a goal. If they do, they need 4 to advance. Little madness in the box, but they survived it.
Well, and listen, helter-skelter defending at times. You find yourself on the back foot. It's all about reactions. Olave Raimondo get caught up for a second, but ready, steady, left back, Chris Winger comes out and alleviates all the pressure.
55th minute. Yura hitting the bar, so close to bringing it even at 2-all on aggregate.
Well, and the possession's recycled twice, and as it comes in, that floated ball from Javier Morales somehow goes through the legs of Burrito Martinez, and we'll break down that play in depth in a little bit.
How about the skill check, 72nd minute, Burrito slaloming through Tigres and earning the penalty.
Well, he earned a penalty, but he shouldn't have earned a penalty. This was a foul outside the 18-yard box, but referee points to the spot. Javier Morales sidesteps across, and it's the first miss for Javier Morales since 2007 from the penalty spot, and that is a devastating miss for Javi.
76th minute, Burrito taken down again. He was giving Tigres all they could handle and a little more than that.
Well, we talked about hack a Javi over the past couple of years. Now it's smother the Burrito at all times, and that's exactly what we've seen over these two legs. Burrito Martinez gets leveled time and time again.
Finally, in stoppage time, RSL having to push forward. And then in the 91st minute, Tigres, the 1-1 draw, 3-1 on aggregate. They get the goal, they advance.
Yeah, and this comes after the horrific head injury from Aaron Mond. He had a huge goose egg, so they took him off, brought in Olmes, left 1v1 in the back, and listen, Gignac, that is his 24th goal in 29 games since joining Tigres. It's disappointing, but a lot to build on.
All right, so bottom line, RSL's eliminated from Champions League. The 4 MLS teams are out. The 4 Liga MX teams move on to the semifinals.
It's painful. It's painful no matter what. I'm a pretty positive guy. I couldn't be more happy and more excited about what's ahead for this team. If we have that kind of effort from everyone, we talked about sacrificing for each other, and that's what I saw tonight was players sacrificing for each other. And if we continue to do things like that, we're going to have a successful year. But it definitely hurts, but we have to put it behind us. Disappointed with exiting the tournament. It's something that we really wanted to push on and make it back to the finals. But really pleased with the effort that our players put forth, our staff. There was a lot of energy that went into preparing for Tigres because they're a fantastic team. But, we got to move on. We got a really important game Sunday against Orlando, and that's where our focus is going to be now.
So RSL eliminated from Champions League, 3-1 on aggregate. What does the goal differential in this say about this new look RSL team? What is the Liga MX competition and Tigres relative to MLS? What do you think? Where's the level of optimism / concern going forward now?
No concern, and here's why. Throughout the course of these two legs, 4 MLS teams in the quarterfinals were knocked out by Liga MX squads. What Real Salt Lake showed me was that it was the most competitive psychologically and physically over the course of those 2 legs. The run of play in the 90 minutes at Tigres, the 2 goals conceded were off set pieces. Gignac, arguably the best player in the region, largely silent for 180 minutes. Yeah, he found the back of the net, but the game was over, and they're in search of that goal after the miss from the PK. There was heart. There was commitment. There is a connection in this team that was missing last year. And the reality is this team and the way this group has been built and the additions that have been made and the health and the fitness and the sharpness and the understanding amongst these players leads me to believe that there will be offensively some great, great stuff this season. Collectively, as a unit, as a team, there's still things that you could tweak, still things that you could acknowledge. But I think the reality where this team is right now is light years ahead of where they were last season.
All right, let's take a look at the telestrator. You're going to show us some of the key moments in these 2 Tigres matches.
Well, and it really comes, and before you even get started, when you're talking about this first goal, look at where the ball comes. That's a sidewinder that's hit on a frozen rope, 70-plus yards. He turns, and Burrito Martinez opens up, and it's an incredible ball into space, but I want you to keep an eye on not just the service, but watch Joao Plata as he's on the goal side of the outside right back. As he makes this run, it's a hard run because Tigres likes to play that high line. Yeremov Sissin, you can see his eyes right now. He's focusing on Guzman, so he's going to want to try to put the ball somewhere between the penalty spot and the top of the six. That's exactly what he does. His goalkeeper recovers, goes through the legs of La Palma, Rivas, and Joao Plata. Right place, right time. Great athleticism to get on the inside of his mark and right underneath the helpless right arm of the goalkeeper. The great opportunity where Yeremov Sissin hits the post. Again, Javier Morales, a first-time ball. Burrito's on one side, Yeremov Sissin's on the other. Now, Burrito's going to whiff on his chances. He's unmarked. And as Yeremov Sissin comes across, I'm going to slow it down for you just so you can see exactly where the goalkeeper was, because I think the concern for Yura is as he recognizes, you can see that snapshot again, as he's looking where the ball is, but he's also keeping an eye directly on the goalkeeper. He goes for power over placement because he's concerned Guzman, one of the best goalkeepers in the region, is looking to recover. You can see how quickly he gets over. Now, just watch the individual skill from Burrito Martinez. 1v1, through one leg, through the other. Double Cruyff, he gets to the end line. Foul's committed. Referee thinks about it, and he points to the spot. Now, the referee gets this one all wrong, and as you can see, contact right there. Outside the 18-yard box. Should not have been a penalty played in favor of the home side. Javier Morales steps up, and unfortunately for Javi, the stutter leads to the big save with the left hand of Guzman. He kind of lawn darts himself into the goalkeeper afterwards, gets a stiff warning from the referee. But for Javier Morales, that was his first penalty missed since 2007, I believe. He took a lot of stick on social media. Why the stutter step? Why the slight hesitation? Finds the back of the net. That doesn't matter. Regardless, that was a fantastic save from the goalkeeper, and one that Javier Morales for the last 24 hours has definitely been thinking about.
All right, when one tournament ends, another competition begins. RSL hopping on a plane tomorrow, headed to Orlando for Sunday's MLS opener. Their first of 5 trips to Eastern Conference teams. Now, if you look at the recent history of the Eastern Seaboard, not treating RSL well. 4 trips to the Eastern time zone. The other trip in the East was to Chicago, where they got a win. For the Eastern time zone, shellackings, 4-0 to New England, 4-1 to Montreal, 1-0 to the Shield winners while playing 60-plus minutes with 10 men, and finishing with 9. A couple of red cards in New York. And then, of course, the crazy barn burner, 6-4 in the nation's capital. So, RSL had a 2-0 lead 20 minutes into that match before conceding 6 goals and taking the L. All right, so the question is, are the coast-to-coast woes a real thing, a fact of life, travel in this league, like you don't see in most leagues, or does one year have nothing to do with the other? For starters, they won't be seeing any of those teams. The way the schedule's set up, they're seeing the other Eastern teams.
Travel is absolutely a concern. But the psychology of the preparation, especially for this group, is going to be much different than last year. Last year, they're banged up. They're not really sure about the formation as they continue to get used to the intricacies as they got away from the 4-4-2 and the diamond. This year, again, they're healthy. First choice. Depth is better, psychologically in a much better place. And I think ultimately it's up to them to right the wrongs, to exercise the demons of what we saw last year.
All right, for RSL, Orlando.
Yeah.
Intriguing challenges.
They are.
Obviously, a big name player.
Yeah, well, and it really does come down to Kaká, and it's just one thing. Everyone's going to focus on Kaká, and absolutely, and that's the obvious. I didn't want to dig too deep in that. Everybody knows what Kaká can do. But set pieces, Sepp Hines scoring 3 goals in their 4-0 win against Bahia. Now, here's the question marks, and Joe Bendick comes over from Toronto FC in goal. Nocerino, he was supposed to be signing with DC United, but his relationship with Kaká at Milan led to a little bit of a tug and war. Orlando had to send significant value to DC United for the rights to sign for Nocerino. The Italian international, I'm not sure if he's going to be there in time. If he is, this is where he'll set up. If not, Darwin Serin, the El Salvadoran international, will come in. Pedro Ribeiro got his start with the Philadelphia Union, and he has been fantastic. Arguably the best player this preseason for Orlando City. Kevin Molino, the Trinidad and Tobago international, back from a horrific ACL injury. A lot of people thought that it was going to be his season last year before that ACL injury. And then Kyle Larin, the Canadian international rookie of the year, 17 goals last year, 0 assists. 17 goals, 0 assists, so he is absolutely the goal scorer, but the focus has been and always will be the former Brazilian and actually current Brazilian international Kaká, who's just called up by Brazil from Dunga for the next 2 World Cup qualifiers. There's question marks, and I think there always will be question marks now that we saw the incredible play from Chris Wingert at the left back position. DeMar Phillips still struggling with flu-like symptoms. That left him out of the match against Tigres. I could see Chris Wingert holding down this spot, and that'll be a big battle to deal with. Sonny has once again been phenomenal in his relationship with Kyle Beckerman. Plata, Burrito Martinez, Javier Morales, Yura Movsisian. Right now, for my money, the most exciting front 4 that we've seen out of the 4 MLS teams in CONCACAF Champions League. All credit goes to Seattle for what they did against Club America, but that front 4 is a frightening front 4. I think it's going to cause a lot of havoc this season.
All right, you can catch all of Sunday's action right here on KMYU with us. We'll both be in Florida to call the game. Yes, Disney World, hello. Pre-game starts at 11:30, noon kickoff. And of course, for more RSL knowledge, remember to follow Dunny on social media. He's on Twitter and Instagram at Brian Dunseth, and on Facebook at Brian Dunseth1. I'm on Twitter and Facebook at David DJ James. And Real Monarchs will host an open house Saturday at Rio Tinto Stadium. The team will hold an open scrimmage. You can see the debut of first-round draft pick Omar Holness, the Jamaican international. North Carolina Tar Heel was the 5th pick in the draft. All right, intriguing game for the opener. They're going to fill the bowl. They had 62,000 for the opener last year against NYC FC, expecting a massive crowd for RSL Sunday at the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, they are. And one little side note, and I'm going to tease the RSL fans. Pay attention the next couple weeks. I have a feeling you'll like what you're going to hear.
Oh, come on. Give us more than that, Dunny.
I'll hold on to that one. Just pay attention. You might want to pay attention.
Come on, a little hint. Throw us a little.
Just pay attention.
All right, fine. Did you sell Chris Wingert hard enough? You were very impressed with his play.
I was.
Very difficult matchup for him.
Listen, Chris Wingert, what he continues to show is his steadiness, his reliability. I think the simplification of the position. DeMar has strengths that Chris doesn't necessarily have in that. The ability to kind of utilize that athleticism to get up and down. But there's something about Wingert and how seamlessly he transitioned back into this back 4. And that play last night in his 1v1 against Jürgen Damm, who is arguably one of the best wide players in Mexico. They paid $8 million for him. Jürgen Damm, the 23-year-old, was silenced all night from Wingert. I would say that's going to be a tough battle for these 2 outside backs to find that starting spot for Jeff Cassar.
All right. Other than that, you think the lineup's pretty much set? We've seen them play well for 2 matches. How does it all transition to Major League Soccer and to travel? You ready? Ready for a lot of goals?
I'm ready.
You ready for a lot of goals? All right, that's going to do it for us right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, we're here every Thursday night talking RSL on KMYU. Dave Fox has more in a moment. Stay with us.